Hey Southeast, this last week we started replacing the roof, and we are having our bathrooms refurbished, and there's just a lot of construction going on. And I was reminded of this passage in 1 Peter chapter 2. And the context of this is Peter was writing to the church in Rome, and there was just a lot of things going on. There was a lot of chaos, there was persecution, it was just a difficult time to be a Christian. And Peter was writing to them how to hold on to Jesus, not let go of Jesus in the face of this persecution. And with all the construction going on here at the church, I know it's not persecution. I know it's not exactly the same context at all. But here's what it reminded me of, is that there's a lot of moving around. So if you came to church on Sunday, you noticed that we had you go to the back bathrooms, and even today the preschool was in a room and we needed to move them a little bit down the hallway. And there's just a lot of chaos that happens when you're building things. So Peter writes to this church in Rome, and look at the descriptive words that he uses when he's talking about the church. This is starting in verse 2. So chapter 2, he says this: "So put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. Like newborn infants, long for pure spiritual milk, that by it you may grow up into salvation, if indeed you have tasted the good Lord, that the Lord is good." And so he's saying, look, as you surrender your life to Christ, as you're looking to be fed by Him, as you're looking for the pure spiritual milk that he's talking about, here's what he says: as that is happening, as you and I are surrendering more and more of our lives over to Christ, as we are growing into maturity, here's what is happening. Look at this. It says, as you come to Him, a living stone, rejected by men, but in the sight of God, chosen and precious. So as your direction, as you lean into Jesus, you're going to find yourself more and more less with the world. But look at what it says. You yourselves, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices. Now, we don't offer goats, we offer ourselves, right? Spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. And as the construction was happening here at the building, I was just thinking about how, man, that's what construction does, right? It moves things around. And so as you are turning to God, He is probably rearranging things in your life. He's changing things in your life. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but in the end, we know that it's good. And so I just want to encourage you in that. I know that as you get closer and closer to Christ, it might become more and more uncomfortable in the world. It might become more and more uncomfortable with some of your relationships. But that's what happens during building. And as He's building you, as He's putting you together, you singular, but also us as a church body, we just have to have our sights set on what He's trying to do. He's building us into a spiritual house. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it, because a house is a place of refuge. A house is a place where you can find freedom. A house is a place where you can come and just, breathe. At least that's kind of the goal. That's the picture that I have in my mind. And so I think about it, and it's like God is building His church up to be on the mission field, to be a refuge for people. And you're part of that. And that's pretty cool to think about. Again, we just recognize that sometimes that becomes uncomfortable, but it's good. It's good. So don't let go of that. He might be rearranging things in your life, and it might be hard. It might be difficult, but it's good. The end goal is good. And so just keep diving into Jesus. Hey, we got a few things that are happening this week. It's our monthly food bank and clothing closet. If you need food or clothing, it's this Saturday. Come and stop by at 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock. Again, just come and get what you need. And then if you know someone, come and get something for them. If you'd like to volunteer, we try and ask our volunteers to be here at 8 a.m. on Saturday to help set up. You're usually here for a couple hours, and then we tear down. And it's a great place to serve. It's one of my favorite places to serve every month. And then also this Sunday, we have our chili cook-off, and there's more details about that on on the website, southeast.cc. But we're going to come worship together, 10:30 a.m. We're going to continue in the Gospel of Mark. It's the 4 soils this week. And then we're going to have the chili cook-off, and it's going to be a fun time of fellowship. It's going to be a great time of community. I hope that you can make it. Southeast, I love you. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.